February 28th, 2022. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 252 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Well, Mike, the big news this week, and we kind of saw this coming, was Medina Spirit was finally stripped of his 2021 Kentucky Derby win.
Right. Post-mortem.
Yeah, post-mortem.
It's a really sad part.
It is. It's a sad. It really is. It's like everything about this story is bad. There's no, except maybe for Mandaloun. But shortly after the race, Medina Spirit tested positive for a banned substance. It was actually a substance that can be given to horses, but not on race day. It's one of those situations where, it's okay, but it can't be in the system, the day of the race. Right, that kind of thing. So trainer Bob Baffert was also suspended 90 days by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. He had already been suspended by Churchill Downs Racetrack, and he's barred from entering horses in this year's and next year's Kentucky Derby.
Which is a big blow.
That's a big blow, but he was fined $7,500.
Right. And
That's
for him,
nothing.
That's toilet paper for him. I mean, that's zero. It's so ridiculous.
It must be some antiquated value, right? From the 1950s or something. Where it's like, well, if you're, this is what you paid. So
it's like when they give the guy that makes $12 million a year playing football. Oh, he got a $10,000 fine.
Right.
I mean, he's at the casino making $10,000 bets. You just lose this hand automatically.
Now, more significant is Baffert has to forfeit all the purse money. For Medina Spirit.
That is more significant.
So, that's something. And that money is going to go to Mandaloun, who is now the official winner of the race.
Right. And was fourth given third then?
Everybody moves up.
So he got more money too.
Yep.
So,
Now, this won't affect any of the wagering. Right.
And it's too late.
You think about it, it's the only way they can do it. Once it's official on the track, moments after the race, then all bets are paid. And that's the end of it. And you think about it, the logistics otherwise would be, well, if you won, come back with your winnings. And if you had Mandaloun, prove that you did, show us your ticket. And we'll get, It's ridiculous. So the wagering doesn't change.
It would be nice, though, to have a ticket with Mandaloun winning or an exacta with Mandaloun and the horse who was third.
Yeah, I guess it'd be nice.
Well, I mean, nothing you could do about it, but it'd be fun to have it and say, oh, yeah, it'll be up for auctions 50 years from now and go for $100,000.
Right, something like that. So again, wagering won't change. There may be lawsuits, who knows about that. But as we said, Medina Spirit died in December at Santa Anita, just collapsed, apparently a heart attack when they, did the necropsy afterwards. There was no indication as to what he really died from. So it's officially just heart attack.
Yeah.
And you can speculate all you want. He was only 3 years old,
Who knows?
So.
Well, somebody knows. Somebody actually does know. Yeah.
Are you surprised that it took this long for them to make this decision?
Yeah, a little bit.
We thought it was coming a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know why that wouldn't be quick.
Yeah.
Unless... Well, look how long it took for the Olympics to decide what to do about that.
The Russian skater?
The Russian skater. They still haven't decided that.
I don't know what the machinations are behind the scenes. There might be a lot of politics behind this,
probably
too.
Is,
but it is surprising. It was almost a year ago that this race went off, right?
Yeah.
So...
Very odd. Very odd. Yeah. And it's probably not the last time this is going to happen.
It's a shame, and we can go on and on about it. But
the sad part is the horse died.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I mean, which is really bad.
Yeah.
Whether you are a fan or not a fan of horse racing, it's just sad when an animal dies.
Of course, that young.
Very young for a horse, right? And
if you want to be really cold about it, you could say, well, no stud fees for Medina Spirit.
Right.
So there's a financial
loss for the owner.
Exactly. So anyway, horse racing. There we go. Hey, there was an episode of Star Trek Discovery here recently that most of it takes place in a casino.
Yeah, a large part of the episode's in a casino.
So we thought we'd talk about it. So it's in this season of Star Trek Discovery, season 4, episode 8. It's called All In. And for people who may not be familiar with this series, this particular season of Discovery takes place about 900 years in the future from the original Star Trek.
Right.
Right? So,
they've traveled through time. This crew has traveled into the future.
Right. So the reason I bring that up is because the one thing that I really don't like about Star Trek, and this is coming from a fan, I love Star Trek, is the transporter.
Yeah.
Right? Now, in the original series, they came up with the transporter to save on money. They didn't want to have to spend money on special effects showing shuttles going down to planets and things like that.
Right.
And the transporter is a huge part of Star Trek culture. But when you think about it, what you could do with a transporter, especially when you can transport people away without them wanting to be. Right. How many times were they, lock in on such and such and beam them up? Oh my gosh. And now, 900 years in the future beyond that, they have like personal transporters. Right. Where you can,
Yeah, they don't have to go to some pad. Yeah. They can just beam in and out of places. Yeah.
So the reason I bring this up is because they go to a casino. And just imagine with the technology, it's in the 32nd century, what they'd have to watch out for. Now,
well, Mark, there's probably some kind of block for transporting in and out of a casino, right?
Well, okay, right. And they did kind of mention something at the beginning to kind of cover that, like, technology is not allowed or, devices aren't allowed. But the story after that kind of undermines it because they're obviously using this kind of technology while these games are going on. Right. In the final sequence, there's one player that they seem to beam out of there. Either that or they killed her.
No, he said to all of them when they started playing that if you lose, you're out, and made it sound like you're out like you're dead.
All right. Well, anyway, there was a lot of technology used in the casino.
Well, the part I loved about it is there's a guy cheating.
Yes.
And one of the guys has to figure out who it is. Yeah. And he's a changeling. He can change his form. And so I don't know how that helps you cheat.
Well, if you look like a different person
every time, they can't catch you. Anyway, it was funny that they're still in that far in the future, still looking for cheaters in the casino.
That's right. They were talking about card counters.
Yeah, card counters. The casino was still worried about card counters.
So suspend your disbelief, maybe more than usual when it comes to this episode, but it still was entertaining. It was a casino. They had a game that looked kind of like blackjack.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
And then you were talking about how there's one plot point where you get to fight.
Yeah. It's like a boxing ring and you go in there and fight and they bet on it.
Right.
So and it's customers who can, I want to fight.
Right. They've got a guy there that's like the house fighter, right?
Right.
And, you can go up against him and there are odds and what have you.
I got a few dealers out at Rincon I think I could take.
You think so?
One or two.
Maybe
some of the smaller female dealers.
Women, yeah. Okay. I don't know about that, Dr. Mike.
Right now, maybe not. But it's funny. She goes in to fight and she loses the first match and then asks for a rematch, loses that and then asks for another rematch. And the odds keep going up. And,
for her,
yeah. And she gets it up to what?
64 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah. And then she just kicks the guy's butt.
Right.
Because they needed a lot of platinum.
Right, to pay for this, element that they needed. And, meanwhile, the house fighter is complaining, hey, you hustled us, which they obviously did. Right. But hey, they agreed to the bets, right?
Right, they agreed to the bets. And then they end up playing a game that obviously is Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, they call
even the flop was the same. Yeah, the river and the turn.
They call it Leonian poker,
right.
And it's a deck of cards you've never seen before, right? It's got these strange symbols on it.
Right.
I was looking at. I don't even know if there's a flop, turn, and river. It almost looks like all the cards were dealt out at the beginning, and maybe there was one.
I think there was one time where there was another card dealt.
Anyway, it's a made-up game, so we can't really say anything about the accuracy of how it was portrayed.
But if you do go to Wizard of Odds, they do have
that's right. Leonian poker. Here's what you need to know. So anyway, it was entertaining enough,
it was very
right?
entertaining. I just liked it. A lot of it was in a casino. I mean, it's called All In,
Right. Yes.
And it reminded me a little bit about in Star Wars Han Solo movie where they're playing poker.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yes.
Throughout that, a couple of times they play what looks like some kind of poker game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's fun. I like that they pushed all their chips in. And at one point, Michael, she said something like, I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Yeah, she was trying to get under everybody's skin. That was her technique.
She was the antagonist.
Right. So. Anyway, entertaining enough. Again, Star Trek Discovery, Season 4, Episode 8. You can catch it on Paramount Plus.
And explain to them why it's not on your list of gambling related.
Oh, well, because it's a stream. Sometimes I get streaming programs on our TV listings. But with streaming, there's not really a premiere date other than, midnight on February 28th, right? You can watch it anytime.
You can watch it anytime. Maybe you should have a separate category for that.
Nope. Nope. I'm done.
You don't want to expand?
I'll tell you, I go through so much raw American TV data. I don't need more.
I'm going to bug you about this.
I know you will. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemails. First up is Danny.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Danny from Houston. I listen to y'all show all the time. Let me say that. I rarely understand what you're talking about because I'm not a table games player, but I enjoy y'all. So keep doing what you're doing, even if I don't understand it. But I did want to call because there are a couple of things that I wanted your opinion on. I just got back from a couple of days in Southeast Louisiana, and I noticed a few things. One, sports betting just recently became legal in Louisiana and in New Orleans and Lake Charles and a couple of the other casinos I went to and lesser-known cities. They very much aggressively are going after having sports betting. But the thing that I noticed is that most of what's going on are kiosks where people can go and place their bets. And a few times I've placed bets, like when I bet on the Astros, the best team in baseball. I'll pause here for Dr. Mike to have a reaction. Okay. And when I've done that, I've placed a bet at a counter. And one of the benefits is you're friendly, you place the bet, maybe give a tip, something, I don't know, but the person can give you drink tickets. Can a kiosk give you drink tickets? And what else are we missing with that? The automation of that. Do we like it? Kind of want to get your opinion on kiosk sports betting, this automation of gambling. I mean, I do it because I play slots a lot in video poker, and there isn't a dealer involved. But for those of y'all that like to interact with people a lot, kind of curious what you think. The other thing I noticed was at one of the casinos, L'Auberge in Lake Charles, it's a Pinnacle property, they had side-by-side a roll-to-win craps table and an actual craps table with dealers. And the roll-to-win had one dealer, but he was kind of leaning against the rail and talking to the pit boss. And the energy between the two tables was vastly different, but both tables were full. And that's kind of the first time I saw that. What I've seen a lot of is the roll to win is going away more because it doesn't seem to attract people. But I'm curious what y'all think about which audience might be best for each game. I was almost going to try roll to win because it's flashy like a slot machine, but I didn't have to interact with a lot of people. But listening to your show, I don't like games that have potential bugs in those. And so hearing about the little bumps and how that messes up the dice on the table. And, I like the classic felt, even though I'm not a big table games player. So just curious if there's an audience for roll to win and where should it fit in the marketing scheme for a casino. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all very much. Hopefully get to meet y'all soon. Hopefully you'll do an interview on my channel. All right, that's all. Bye.
Oh, your channel, huh? We'll have to find out about it. I couldn't find anything online. Let us know what your channel is, Danny.
Yeah, and then just to clarify things for Danny, 87% of the people who listen to us don't have any idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's not their fault.
No.
Okay,
no.
that's our fault.
That's our fault.
Because we go on. I'm sitting there editing the show afterwards oh my gosh, we explained this so poorly. How can I edit it to at least, make it somewhat reasonably understandable? Yeah, so Danny's two questions are kind of related. He was talking about, personal service versus just a machine and roll to win versus a full table, that kind of thing. We've all got different personalities. There are plenty of people who would rather not have to deal with somebody, like the idea of just working with a machine, especially maybe if they're novices. And it's I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't, if I make a mistake, I don't want somebody to criticize me, something like that.
One nice thing about the personal thing, I'll use horse racing at the racetrack as an example. Mm-hmm. If you don't know the bets and everything, when you do go to a window, they will help you.
Yeah, if I want to bet a box. What is that?
Yeah, or you say, I like the 3 and the 4, and they'll explain to you what a box is or an exacta or whatever. But if you know what you're doing, then a machine is a lot quicker.
It can be, yes,
can
for
be
sure.
a lot. You don't stand in a line usually, and you boom, 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 you're done.
Right.
So I think it just depends on your level of comfort.
Yeah, and it's similar with roll to win versus regular craps table. Now there's some other factors here too. Roll to win tables usually have lower minimums, so that could be a big part of it. And then again, maybe not feeling comfortable around the table so much. You're more comfortable doing roll to win versus a regular table.
Yeah, if you didn't want to talk to anybody,
right? Yeah,
my advice first would be to go to the stadium gaming.
Oh, that's if they have craps there,
if
for
they
sure.
have craps there, because that is totally alone.
Yeah,
there's no
really
dice rolling or anything.
Right.
I mean, and you take your time.
Yeah,
and then little interaction at the roll to win.
Yeah.
but not much.
Yeah,
and then if you're the kind of person that likes the cheering and the camaraderie, then regular craps is your.
Yeah. Now, Danny said both the tables that he saw were full. So that could mean that one of them was full first, and then the only other option for people who wanted to play after that was the other table. I don't know which way it would have gone, but there could have been some players in Danny's example that maybe wanted to be at the other table, but the only opening was, at the one they were playing at. So, that's an option too. Speaking of roll to win, we heard about these bumpers that have been put into these tables. And sure enough, they've got them out at Harris, Southern California now. They've got them there, those little things.
Those little bumper
so
things,
that you can't really slide the dice anymore.
God, they're so paranoid.
Well, I guess it must
900
really
years
happen.
from now, still paranoid.
Well, 900 years from now, I mean, they're going to be using transporters to change the dice at the last minute.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was a 7 for a second there.
Look again.
Oh, yeah. All right, next call.
Yeah, this is Logan from Hawaii. I have a Vegas trip report. I was at the Palazzo. This guy won $29,000 on the crap table. His pass line and odds was several hundred dollar odds. At the beginning, his place bets were like 300, 400. As each number was hit, he would press the sister numbers. Pass line would win. He would take the odds on the pass line win, press his place bet numbers. I've never seen anybody win $29,000 at a crap table in over an hour. And the previous night, a high roller won $200,000, and I was told the table lost $380,000. So I have a follow-up at the Aria. Me and this other guy held the dice very long. He bought in for $2,000 and he walked away with $10,000. When he rolled, it was just grab and shoot. And at one point, only had me and him on the table, and we were just collecting chips within seconds of each roll. At one point, he told the pit boss, the table minimum was $25, increase the bet minimum to $500 for all new players. The pit boss obliged, and that's what happened. After he 7'd out was my roll. I started throwing. After I made my point, another guy at the opposite end got in for $16,000. Put $100 on the horn high ace deuce. Next roll, horn high ace deuce, got paid, pressed it to 200. Next roll, aces, pressed it to 300. Rolled again, 11, pressed it to 400. Rolled again, 12. Rolled again, ace deuce. We had $600, I believe, on the horn high ace deuce, and I rolled 6 consecutive horn numbers. But I continued to roll again. I looked at his on the table. He had $2,000 place bet across, including the points. And I continued to roll, and I was hitting the place bet numbers, and this guy was getting paid. I have another report coming up because I'm still in Vegas, and I'll follow up with it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring out on those horn numbers. If he was really pressing 100, it would have been about a $10,000 win overall, right? If he's pressing 100 every time, of course, depending on what numbers are, right? You're going to get paid a little bit more when the 2 and 12 come up. But yeah, nice little run there.
That's a great run. Yeah.
And he was talking about how when he and this other shooter were kind of alone at the table, the one shooter said, "Hey, can you make the minimum $500 for anybody new who comes up to the table?"
Right.
And they obliged him. It's basically to discourage somebody from coming in.
He didn't want other people coming in.
Right. So it was nice of the pit boss to do that. Logan also mentioned sister numbers, and I don't know if we've ever used that term before, but I thought we'd just talk about what sister numbers are. It's basically on a craps table, the opposite number is the sister number. So 6 and 8 are sister numbers.
Yeah.
5 and 9 are sister numbers.
4 and 10.
4 and 10,
3 and 11, 2 and 12.
It's basically, the other way. They have the same odds of rolling. So the odds of rolling a 5 are the same as rolling a 9.
Right.
6 is the same as an 8, that kind of thing. Also, if you're looking at the dice, if you turn the dice upside down, you will see the sister roll of whatever was on top. So if there's a 5 on the top of the dice, if you turn them over, you'll see a 9.
Yeah,
so that's
if you have a hard 10 on top, you have a hard 4 below.
Yep, exactly.
And also, except for the only one that doesn't have a companion is the 7.
Is the 7, yep.
And that's the bell cow of craps.
Yeah, that's okay. And there's a set on the opposite side of 7 is a 7,
another
right?
7.
It's his own sister.
Yeah, it's its own sister.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, speak to you from Chattanooga again. Just wanted to do a trip report from Vegas, a trip I took towards the end of January. It was good environment. It felt like it was back almost like pre-COVID times. Awful gambling the first 2 days of the trip. We stayed at Planet Hollywood. Good environment everywhere. But it doesn't matter what we did. We just could not win anything, despite the fact that I went up to an ATM and there was money left in the ATM. Like $60. I took it to the cashier's cage and then also got mispaid on a roulette table. It hit black and I had money on red and she gave me chips back. And I said, no, it hit black. She was thankful. She took it back. So I thought I had good karma going my way, but it didn't work out. So then last day of the trip on the Saturday, we went to Fremont. Fremont did Fremont things like it always does. Played at Circa, loved Circa. There was football going on, so great environment. I finally sat down, played some video poker. I had 4 cards dealt to me of a royal flush, and finally I said, "This is it. It's coming back." And I rubbed the screen by accident, and I accidentally held the 5th card, and my buddy was looking over my shoulder, screamed, "No!" And thankfully we clicked it off before I hit deal. But it didn't matter. It didn't come through, and swore off gambling like everybody does for a solid 5 minutes until I got back on a different table. Ended up winning at roulette there at Circa, and then we went to Golden Gate, which is probably my favorite casino. I just love everything over there. And I decided to finally try Ultimate Texas Hold'em. 5 hands in, I hit a straight flush. Brought me back. and then I won 6 hands in a row, then got a full house, and couldn't lose. So it was a great way to end the trip. And then we went back to Planet Hollywood and realized that the progressive there at Planet Hollywood, if I'd have hit the straight flush there, would have been $57,000, which would have been a really nice way to end the trip. But nonetheless, hit it. It was great. And all I can think to myself now is I'm completely ruined on this game forever because I think I'm going to get a straight flush every time. And I know that's not going to happen probably ever again. But it was a great moment, a great trip. Appreciate everything you guys do. And I hope to run into you at one point. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, good story.
Yeah. See, what if he hits it again the next time he plays?
Yeah.
I mean, just as likely as never hitting it ever again, right?
Think of how much Texas Hold'em we've played, Mike.
Yeah, right.
It's like at our home game.
Oh,
how often have you made a straight flush in Texas Hold'em? Maybe once, maybe twice in years. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same in this game, right? Same kind of thing, right? So anyway, congratulations. And hey, BT, your karma did pay off.
Yeah, right.
The good things you did. Maybe it didn't work at Planet Hollywood, but it eventually came around for you.
Well, the good thing, congrats to him on 5 minutes swearing off gambling. That's 4.5 minutes longer than anyone in the history of the world has swore off gambling while in a casino.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Didn't go sit in the Keno lounge and mope.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't throw anything.
Yeah. Didn't stand up on the table.
Yeah.
I do like the story, too, about the royal flush draw that he almost just held the 5th card. Nope. But it didn't matter. Well, no, it mattered.
Yeah,
right? It mattered. All right. Next call.
Gentlemen, this is Adam from Denver, Colorado. As you know, Black Hawk, Colorado is only about 45 minutes away from Denver. So I was skiing earlier today and decided to make a stop in Black Hawk on the way home and went to the Monarch Casino, which is it's an older casino, but they've actually renovated it, so it's actually kind of one of the nicer casinos now. And rolled up to the craps table. It was $15. There were only a couple people on the table. Bought in for just $100 and played for a little bit. And then I saw something that I'd never seen before, where this guy rolled up and bought in for $10,000, which for Blackhawk is, that's insane. It took him like 10 minutes to count all his money. He bought in on the other side of the table from me. I was on one end and he was on the complete opposite end. They changed the minimum of that side of the table from 15 to 50, which was odd because there was one other guy on that side of the table. He had to move to my side of the table. And then also several other people were kind of walking up at the same time. A couple of them were going to try to be on that same side of the table as the high roller. And when they saw it was $50, they all had to cram onto my side. So it was funny. They were like, my side was full. There were 6 or 7 of us, and there was just the one guy on the other side with $10,000 of chips. I had never seen that before. I don't know if you guys have seen that, if that's standard, if you can request that if you're a high roller. But anyway, just something bizarre I've never seen, or if you've just ever seen a table that has 2 different minimums on one side and the other of the table. I also hadn't seen that either. So anyway, love your guys' show. Keep up the good work. All right, bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon, actually.
No, yeah.
And it may be even more common now with the high limits. You know, they're trying to cater to maybe high rollers. It happens at Harrah's all the time,
all
actually.
the time.
Yeah.
One side will be 25 and the other side will be 50.
Yeah, a lot of times
15 and 25.
You know, you'll come up and they say, "Oh, Dr. Mike, we know you like a $50 table. You want to make this side 50?" You'll say, "Yeah, okay." I am a little surprised in this example that they made the one player move to the other side of the table. Why not just grandfather him in? But I don't know. They're trying to cater to some high roller that wanted the whole side to himself or something.
Yeah,
so.
Probably just he wanted the room.
That could be,
you know, we love that too. We love the room.
So, yeah, you'll see that a little bit more. That's why you have to kind of be careful when you do go up to the table and you just look at the limit, you know, right in front of you. There may be a different limit on the other side of the table. Usually not, but sometimes there is.
Yeah. And sometimes the signs don't get changed either. That happens at Harrah's Rincon.
Yeah, that
the
happens
signs
a
don't
lot.
get changed. They walk up and, it's 15. No, it's 50. Okay.
Well, what? It says 15 right there.
Yeah.
We haven't changed the sign yet. They've got these antiquated, terrible signs, electronic signs. It takes them forever to change. They have to remove it from the watch.
It's a ridiculous system, isn't it?
It really is. All right, last call.
Hey there, gentlemen. It is newish listener LAJ calling from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Mardi Gras weekend, here for a bachelor party. And of course, the group has gone to Harrah's, New Orleans, take a little break from the French Quarter and all of that madness to try our luck at the tables. Craps Tables Roll to Win was a $15 minimum bet on a Saturday afternoon. If you wanted to play with the real croupier, that was $25 to sit down there. Of course, I was trying to teach the crew how to play the rules of the game. I got the dice thrown to me. I proceeded to come out with a 6. I laid out all the money. I was explaining what the different numbers were, what the different bets were, hopping this, horning that, and proceeded to 7 out in the first roll. Lost all my money. The bachelor did not want to listen to me anymore, but he started to play his own way, and somehow he was able to go from $100 down to $300 up. Very, very happy, very deserving. That's a report here from New Orleans. Love listening to the show, and I'm going to get back to some of this Mardi Gras fun.
That Mardi Gras is something, isn't it?
Oh, man. I've never been. I've been to New Orleans, but never during Mardi Gras. I can just imagine.
I've been to New Orleans, never at Mardi Gras time. My brother has been there for work during Mardi Gras, and he said, never again.
I can understand.
Never again. It's the only time you can go somewhere and have like 50 people simultaneously touching you with other parts of their body. He said it was so crowded.
So if you want that kind of thing, maybe you do.
Yeah, maybe you do. I mean, he just said it was so uncomfortable, like all these different people, and you can't move.
Right. Well, Mike, how many times, seems like it happens every time, but how many times have we been explaining the game of craps to a new player? Here, put your money down here, and it's just the worst luck, right?
Just
the worst
possible thing.
So we understand that, but luckily the groom-to-be was able to make some bets on his own and make some money on that. So.
I don't know. I'm sure we've told this story before. I don't remember, but I can almost guarantee we have.
Yeah.
That one where you were teaching those girls at UCSD party.
Yeah, it was a casino
night party.
Yeah.
You were teaching them. You spent all that time explaining it. One roll and they just walked away.
Yep.
He spent like 15 minutes and then one roll.
It's not real money.
Yeah.
Just come back, please.
It's always that way when you're explaining it to somebody. Why is that? I mean, it's like the 7 when the stick changes. Why is it always this? I know the reason why we think that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it really does seem to happen every time.
Well, he's talking about Harrah's New Orleans. Let's talk about Biloxi real quick. So, what do you think, Mike? Are you pretty much out for Biloxi, do you think?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
Yeah.
Just physically wise, I can't do it.
Yeah. I toyed with the idea of maybe not going myself just because I really wanted to go with you.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, it's like,
go.
I thought, this might be my only chance. So, I'm going to go.
If things change at the last minute and I have an opportunity.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I feel good enough, I may go. But the closer it gets, I'm just not getting better.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm going to try to maybe stay one night at Harrah's New Orleans.
Yes.
Kind of because I'll be flying to New Orleans.
Right.
So maybe stay one day. I'm still waiting to hear back from my host, but maybe one day there and then on to Biloxi. So everybody's going to miss you, Mike, I know. But,
if you're in New Orleans for that one day, go down to the French Quarter.
Oh, I'm not going to be I'm flying into New Orleans and going immediately to Harrah's New Orleans.
You don't want to go see how many people can touch you in like a certain amount of time?
It won't be Mardi Gras. I've been to New Orleans before.
You can still have a lot of people touching you.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I could probably find some place in New Orleans where a lot of people touch me.
And there'll probably be just as much nudity there.
That's right. All right, so we are less than 2 weeks away now from our next semi-annual poker tournament online. It's going to be on Sunday, March 13th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And don't forget, that's also the first day of daylight saving.
Right. So you got to remember your clocks.
That. So, all the older people like us that still have analog clocks and maybe people who think they, can get a certain amount of sleep, you're going to have to wake up a little earlier on that
It's so funny. As you get older, the number of clocks on your nightstand increases. Right now, I'm dealing with 3. I have an alarm clock, I have a little 8-timer thing, and I have my cell phone. And they're never coordinated. So they all go off at different times.
I'm the same way. I like to be able to look anywhere and have a clock kind of in my line of vision there.
Well, I bought one of those clocks a few years back that projects the time up on the ceiling. So if you're laying in the bed, you just look up and you can see it on the ceiling. It made me so paranoid, I had to get rid of it. Because I'd wake up and look up there, 2:20.
Click. All right, Sunday, March 13th, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. There will be a 20-minute grace period after the start of the tournament where you can still register. It'll cost $20,000 in play money chips to register. And PokerStars gives you 15,000 free play money chips every 4 hours. All you have to do is just click there and on the homepage get free chips.
Right. So if you have none now, sign up, get your 15. The next day, clock in, get another 15. You're good.
You just need 20. And you can register right now. Registration is open right now. It is No Limit Texas Hold'em as usual. We're going to start with 3,000 in chips. We will have hourly breaks. If you're already in our PokerStars home games group and you haven't already registered, you should have gotten an email from us already reminding you about it. If you're not yet in our group, send us an email at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com with your email address and your PokerStars username. And if you don't have a PokerStars username, just go to PokerStars.net, download the app, and sign up. It doesn't cost anything. And again, we'll be using their Play Money tournament option. As before, first place is going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. Second place, a $50 card. Third place, $25 card. $25 Amazon cards for each of the players that eliminate Dr. Mike and me. Also, $25 Amazon gift card for the player that eliminates Tim Lawson from The Better Life. Probably be about 4 hours. That's what it seems to.
Yeah, for
be
the whole
last
tournament. Of course, you don't have to stay the whole time.
Right.
If you're out, you don't have to watch till the end. It is highly encouraged that you do.
If you do register for the tournament and it ends up you can't play, please unregister. You'll just be blinded off if you don't, but it will affect the play of the tournament. If there's a spot there and you're, it's just being blinded off. It does, sometimes if you're in the button and somebody who's not there is in the big blind, well, you're going to raise more often, right? So thanks for that. As for our next episode, so our current schedule now is we record on Sundays and we release on Mondays. Well, the tournament is going to be on a Sunday. I don't know if we're going to have time to record. So maybe we'll record the next day, the next tournament.
Monday, yeah.
The next
and we can talk about the results.
Yeah, we can talk about the tournament.
Yeah, we've already printed out most of the results. Reverend Dave wins.
Look for our next episode, maybe a day late on that. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Brian Dancer, from Brian and Sarah, from Josh, and from David. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Jim from New York.
Nice.
Payouts for those Super Bowl picks that your daughters made, right? They won the important ones.
Yeah, they won the important ones.
They didn't get the coin flip, which, it's a coin flip.
It's a coin flip, right.
They didn't get the Gatorade right. How would you know?
Right.
But they got the win with the Rams, and they got the no overtime. So thank you very much, Jim, for that. He says, to the fabulous Mark Duvall and Dr. Mike, congratulations on your upcoming 10th anniversary of the You Can Bet on That podcast. Oh, my gosh.
Coming up in September, right?
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
Another thing, his bet reminded me, so we took the money line on the Rams because they didn't cover the spread. And on the Star Trek Discovery, she bet the money line on one, but she says something like, I'll take the money line.
She actually said money line. Yeah, that was, I caught that too.
So 900 years from now, they're still using the term money line.
Yes, and all in. If the future really turns out as Star Trek has predicted, I'd like to qualify that.
Why wouldn't it?
We also got a donation from listener Mark. He says, in hopes of getting my first Royal. Also, a donation from Jeff from Round Rock, Texas. Love the show. Karma donation for an upcoming Vegas trip March 6th through the 9th with some buddies. Staying at Planet Hollywood with comped rooms. 4th pandemic trip. First with no masks. So nice. Congratulations.
We'll see if that changes the luck.
Also a donation from our buddy Bill. Karma donation for an upcoming Vegas trip since the last one worked so well. Can't wait to see you guys in Biloxi in April. Yeah, you'll see me. No, Dr. Mike. So first time for me in that part of the country. Thanks for the podcast. And finally, a donation from Ryan. Karma donation for your unlucky draw for my Super Bowl squares. That's right. He picked some squares for us last
I had like 5 and 2.
There were some awkward ones.
Yeah, there were odd numbers.
Also for some NBA bets tonight and an upcoming March Madness Wendover weekend. Oh, well, good luck on that, Ryan.
Good.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. What do you got for us, Dr. Mike?
Well, a couple things, Mark. First off, I'm very disappointed with baseball.
Oh, okay.
I may give up being commissioner of football and go for commissioner of baseball.
Okay, to get everything straightened out there.
Yeah,
for
fighting
the
over
issues
some money thing when they're all billionaires anyway.
All right. Let's not even get into it, okay?
Well, it's costing us.
Yes, it costs the fans.
It costs the fans. And we're not going to be able to bet on any of those games because they're not going to have them.
Yeah, let's hope everything works out by opening day.
Yeah,
all right.
Hopefully it will.
What's your second thing, Dr. Mike?
My second thing, Mark, was for anybody out there listening who might have some connections or know somebody who is on the NCAA selection committee, push hard for San Diego State, please.
It's been kind of a weird season.
It's been a weird season for them.
Yeah.
They're kind of an odd team.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
There have been some games they should have won easily and
they struggle, and then other games they play so good.
Yeah.
But I hope they make it because it's always funner if one of your teams.
What? You corrected yourself? Oh my gosh. Mark this date on your calendar, everyone.
It's always more fun if one of the teams in the tournament is the team you root for regularly.
Of course, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we love the tournament anyway.
Yeah.
But when you have an interest in it like your team's playing, it's a lot more
Definitely.
fun.
And neither one of us is an alum of San Diego State. But,
No.
I mean,
Actually, the school that we both graduated from does have a Division I basketball team now.
Yes, they do, right?
Yeah,
but still no football team. Don't look for that to happen anytime soon.
And this is their first year in the NCAA Division I.
Yeah.
And they're not too good.
No.
But, I do check every day to see how they did.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking forward to the tournament. And that is something we're going to be able to talk about on the next episode because Selection Sunday is again on our poker tournament. So we'll know.
It's a big day.
We'll know what the brackets look like. So, all right. Well, hope to see you at the tournament. And thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.